Welcome back everyone for another tutorial, and today I'm going to be making a gift box. It's quite practical, but depending on the papers that you use, it can be actually quite elegant. And here's what I've selected today for mine. These are from the Wanderlust collection by Trimcraft, first edition, and I've got some ordinary mirror card. This is just from one of the cheap pound shops, and I've got my cardstock. This is around 300 GSM, and I've got a little bit of ribbon. Again, just some generic ribbon, a little bit sparkly, so a little more festive. I was inspired by Sam Calcott, UK, of Mixed Up Craft for this project today. And since I'm using the white cardstock rather than coloured cardstock, as Sam did in her tutorial, I decided to add some mirror mats to the project. And to save on my cardstock, I do this quite often with my mats. I just cut out the middle of them, and I'm not really, very precise, as you can see here, but it does save me a little bit for my stash for other little things. So I'm going to get on with the scoring, and as I go through I'll give you the measurements for the mats and the layers. Okay, the 3 pieces of cardstock for the box itself. You have 2 sheets which are 8.5 by 7.5. Those are for the box itself, and the lid is just a little bit larger, and also it then can accommodate the ribbon easily. And this measures 8 5/8 by 7 5/8. So I've already scored this one, but I'll show you on the other one. On the long side, on the 8.5 inch side, score at 1/2 inch, which is going to be your tab, and at 4 inches. Then turn it to the shorter side, the 7.5 inch side, and score again at 4 inches. Okay? Which is what I've done on the other one. For the lid, this is a reinforced lid, so it's going to have 2 score lines, and they're going to go all the way around. So we're going to have a 1 inch, and a 2 inch score line. Turn it, 1 inch, 2 inches. 1 inch, 2 inches, and for the 4th and final side, 1 inch and 2 inches. And that is all our scoring done. Going to fold and burnish the score lines for the base. So I'm going to remove this rectangle here. And just going to miter those tabs there, and then come straight up the score line here to that one. What we do is we're going to attach these 2 together. turn it over, and because it's going to be the inside of my box now with the tab there, take this tab, fold it back. What I'm going to do is bring this over like so. Okay, so again, I'm going to move on to the lid now, and again, I'm going to fold along these score lines, and as I said, it's a reinforced lid, so it has a 1-inch lip and then an inner lip as well, which gives it that reinforcement. You can see right there. So this is going to fold in like this. For this, I'll show you what we're going to remove. We're going to remove this box and this one and this one, and we're going to do that on all 4 sides. We're going to cut up these score marks as well, and I'm just going to take wedges, oops, not that one, wedges out of this one and this one here, but I will leave this one completely intact because that's going to fold in on itself. So first thing I want to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut up those 2 score lines right up to that second score line there. Do the same on this end. Okay, and then I can come round here and take all that off. So I've got those 2 off, and now I'm going to just remove this one. Okay, and again, to neaten it up just a little bit, we'll take a small wedge off of each of these tabs here. Sides of that tab, and then on the other 3. So again, come up the score line, a bit hard to see it on this white cardstock, to that second one, this one, okay. Take this one completely off, and this one cut on that square there, and take that bottom square off, and just angle these tabs. Repeat on the other side. You should end up with something that looks like that. So these are going to fold in, and these tabs will go into the sides like so. Okay. And again, we're going to mat and layer this before we actually put it together. So let's get this little bit out here, and we'll move on to the matting. Already matted, and these 2 pieces, one for the side and one for a front, and I'll give you the measurements for those, and I'll do this one with you right now. The mat itself, okay, this is for the front and this is for the side, and they measure, for the side it's 3 3/8 by 3 7/8, and this one is 4 3/8 by 3 7/8. For the pattern paper, for the side, it's 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And for the front, 4 1/4 by 3 3/4. So you need 2 of each of these sizes. So I'm going to use my glue again to go around here. this to the front mat. Okay. And of course, if you were using a mat and you wanted to use just a solid piece, you would put your glue all the way on the back of that piece of paper. And of course, you don't have to use the mat. You could just use the decorative paper. Okay, so that's our front done, and this will be for our side. And it's just a tiny little bit, about somewhere around a 1/16 of an inch border around that. Just enough to give it a little bit of lift. So the addition of those pieces, this is getting much stronger. So now I just need to decide which is going to be my front and which is going to be my back, because I've got joins both at the front and the back there. So if I had something that was maybe a little more, you know, directional, you know, it might just depend on how it looks as to which side I decide for the front or the back. In this case, I don't think there's much difference, so I'm just going to pick a side, and I'm going to make this my front. So first thing I want to do is I prefer to fold in the back first, and just to give this a little more foldability. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I'm going to pretend that it is. Fold that in, and that is going to go there, and then these side pieces are going to come in, and then the front. Okay, I'm just going to make sure it's stuck down really well. I can always come in with my ruler, get down in there. And there is our base. Done. Okay, now I move on to the lid. Now for the lid, I decided I would like to mat it on the inside as well. So all I've done is taken a piece of this mirror cardstock, cut it at 4 3/8 by 3 3/8, which is the size of the pattern paper. That's 4 3/8 by 3 3/8. Onto the matting of the lid. Okay, and our mat is 4 1/2 by 3 1/2. Okay, so it's the top of the lid is done, and now for these sides, they will get matted with these pieces, and I've already gone ahead and done a couple of them, but for these they are 7/8 by 4 1/2, and the two long side pattern papers are 3/4 by 4 3/8. The short side are 3/4 by 3 3/8, and the mat is 7/8 by 3 1/2. So again, the mats are 7/8 by 3.5 and 7/8 by 4.5. The pattern papers are 3/4 by 4 3/8 and 3/4 by 3 3/8, and again you need 2 of each. And now I'm going to attach it to the lip of the box. Now remember, this is going to go inside, so this first rectangle here is where these pieces are going to go. These tabs are going to be the first thing that you glue in. So there we go here. First one. And I'm going to match these corners up. And what you can do is just take your fingers, run along the sides, and you can feel that they're square, that they're coming together. Okay? I can fold these tabs back, take my glue, go ahead and apply it to all 4 of these tabs at the same time, and then I'll fold them in. I'm ready to attach the ribbon fastening next, and what it's going to do is go round the bottom of the box and then in through the side. So what we need to do then is to punch our holes for our ribbon on the long side of the box. So should measure about, oh, that's Chloe. Hello Chloe, you've come to join us. Alright, 2 and should be about 2 1/4 inches. So I just kind of make a little mark there. That's about where our hole should go, and I'm going to use my crocodile and the going to use the larger side, okay, which is the 3/16. So the ribbon is going to wrap around. Through these ends. Okay. There we have it. A nice little box. Now let's see what we can fit in it. We have a mug here. I believe in Santa and unicorns. And could even put tissue paper around it, which I probably would do. But you can see it fits in there very nicely. Okay. And there we have it. Our sweet little box with a ribbon closure. Thank you so much for joining me today for this tutorial on the little gift box with the ribbon closure, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for coming. Bye and crafty hugs.